We've got some spicy new lore. It involves Guilliman, it involves the Inquisition, and it involves some chapters that were involved in the Badab conflict many, many years ago. This is taken from the brand new end of campaign book, the Maelstrom book. So if you're currently reading it, if you don't want to be spoiled, then please leave the video right now. This is your first and only spoiler warning. So this text is actually located in the last page of the Maelstrom book. The previous book, 500 Worlds, had the bit of text from the Lion to Guilliman saying, brother, we need to talk. This one is all about the Ordo Astartes, and it's about Guilliman and his actions about some of the chapters that were involved in the Badab War many, many years ago. And it's looking like maybe you chaps were right. Maybe there is going to be another Imperial Civil War. We'll go through the text and we'll break it down and we'll talk about it. So boom, in the background right now. So this is a message that has been sent in the background right now. It's from the Ordo Xenos. You can see like isolating servo encryption, vermilion clearance, verify, which is like the highest clearance you can do. And the message reads, Commander, Lord Guilliman has done it. It is as I have feared for so long, and you, my friend, foresaw all those years ago. The Wardens are returning. There are many on the throne world who have abandoned me, but I still have my Whispersmiths, great word. Word has reached them of an order from the Lord Regent, one of forgiveness so cloying that its words sicken me. The Lord Regent has granted the Emperor's absolution to the Mantis Warriors, the Executioners, and the Lamenters. Yes, my friend, all three, those still undertaking the Pentantial Crusade, are commanded to cease. Their chapter masters are ordered to regather their desperate forces and ready them. This absolution carries but a single caveat. Their first deployment is to delve into the Maelstrom and take the head from its abominable tyrant, Shuren Blackheart. That heretical monster deserves such a fate, a thousandfold of course, but the Wardens, I might be inspired by such clinical justice if it wasn't so galled by the threat of repeated treachery. I will not permit the tyrant to reap another corruptive harvest of the Emperor's creations. We failed once to fully categorize the stump of the Badab War, letting three-tainted limbs continue to wield blades in the Emperor's name when they should have been severed from the Imperial body. I would see those chapters extinct before I allow Badab to happen again. I beg you to instigate the contingency you and others have prepared against this fateful day. I have already begun to gather my followers, both loyal and unknowing. If those chapters prove us wrong, we will be in a position to reinforce their noble efforts. Otherwise, we will have a weapon in place, ready to strike them down, a weapon the Imperium lacked at Badab. If this entity reaches you, wherever in the outer dark you may hunt, know that I have ensured termination failsafes to erase this message. Inquisitor Scalen, Ordo Astartes. Very, very, very spicy. It seems like in the back of these campaign books, like the messages that are being sent is the most spiciest part of the book. I can't wait to see what happens like with the Eye of Terror one and the rumored Armageddon one, but it's really, really building up now against Guilliman and some of the orders that he's doing involving the Astartes. Now let's break down that text bit by bit. So Guilliman has issued an order that the Mantis Warriors, the Executioners, and the Lamenters. So the Mantis Warriors come from the White Scars, if I'm not mistaken. The Executioners are sons of Rogul Dawn, and the Lamenters, of course, are the sons of Sanguinius, the Blood Angels. So what happened in Badab? These chapters did side with the Astral Claws at the time. And of course, the shenanigans that happened during the Badab Wars, the Astral Claws went to Chaos. They become the Red Corsairs, etc. Shuren Blackheart, etc. All that happened. But the Executioners, the Lamenters, the Mantis Warriors, and I think some other chapters as well. Am I mistaken? I think it was just those three chapters were left on a penance crusade to prove their worth to the Imperium, where they had to go on a 100-year crusade and they weren't allowed to recruit anyone to the chapter. So if they died in the meantime, they literally died in the meantime, and that was their way of proving themselves to the Emperor, to the Imperium, that way they were still loyal. But Guilliman has now overrode that order and said, hey, no, come back. You're now serving me. You're going into the Maelstrom and you're hunting down Shuron Blackheart. To be fair, that's what should have happened anyway. They should have said to those chapters, to prove your worth, go and hunt down Huron. Prove to us that you are loyal to us. But I can understand, kind of, the Ordo Astartes' look, because they're thinking, well, they sided with him before, and now they're being sent to go and find him. Are they going to side with him again? I can kind of get where the Ordo Astartes are coming from, but at the end of the day, what the Ordo Astartes are doing, because we covered this in a previous video from the 500 World Books, the Ordo Astartes do not like the power that Guilliman is bringing to himself. He's surrounding himself now with chapters of Space Marines. You could argue this is like the Horus Heresy with Horus and building up the legions to take Terra. That's what the Ordo Astartes are looking at. Don't forget, the Ordo Astartes and an inquisitorial force, and all they're about is looking at the Space Marines for any type of betrayal. That's their sole purpose. They're not one of the big Ordos. I think they have like 100 Inquisitors, which is, it's kind of big, but it's not big to like the Xenos or the Malleus or the Hereticus or something like that. But you know, they're very well known in the galaxy. So they're looking at Guilliman and his actions, and they don't like what they see at this moment in time. Now, one of the spicy things in that passage of text is the weapon that they mention. Again, I'm going to put it in the background right now so you can read it along. It says, I beg you to instigate the contingency you and others have prepared against this fateful day. I have already begun to gather my followers, both loyal and unknowing. If those chapters prove us wrong, we'll be in a position to reinforce their noble efforts. Otherwise, we will have a weapon in place ready to strike them down. A weapon the Imperium lacked at Badab. Is he talking about like assassins and stuff? Or are they talking about something much more powerful? One of the things that we do know that the Imperium has, or did have, during the Siege of Terra, is basically a biological weapon that would wipe out all Astartes and their Primarchs. Could this be the weapon they're talking about? If anyone would have their hands on this weapon, I fear it would be the Ordo Astartes, the Ordo set up to investigate and make sure the Space Marines don't go traitors. Again, that's just some theory from me, but what type of weapon could they be talking about? Like, what kind of weapon could they have to instantly take down 3 chapters worth of Space Marines? By the way, these chapters have been reinforced with the Primaris Gene Seed. There's actually short stories out about the Lamenters, the Executioners. I'm not too sure about the Mantis Warriors, but there was some short stories put out last year about them receiving the Primaris Gene Seed. So they are reinforced. They're probably back up to around 1,000 Marines. So you're talking potentially around 3,000 active Marines going into the Maelstrom, and a weapon that could potentially wipe them all out. I have absolutely zero idea what that could be. Help me out in the comment section. Now, the underlining story to all of this is that, again, the Ordo Astartes does not like what Guilliman is doing. It was made clear in the 500 World Book. I think it's made clear in this book with Guilliman going over their head and doing what the hell he wants. He's literally the Lord Regent. He's more or less the de facto emperor of the Imperium. He has the Emperor's sword. The Emperor says, go out, do whatever you want kind of thing. He is the leader. The Inquisition doesn't like that. We spoke about that in the last video. But where is this leading? Are we going to be getting another civil war? You know my thoughts on this. I hate the idea of another Imperium civil war because we've had so many of them. And for once, I just want us to work together, link up and destroy the Xenos, the Heretic, and the Mutant. That's all I bloody want. I have theorized in my previous video, maybe it's going to be like a shadow civil war where you don't really see it on like the surface, but it's all just like Inquisitors taking down certain agents, Guilliman's agents taking down certain Inquisitors and stuff like that. So you don't see it on the surface, it's all under, and the flyers are contained. Maybe it's going to be something like that. Maybe it's not. Maybe it is going to burst into a bigger conflict, and this is going to be a thorn in the side for Guilliman moving forward, trying to fight chaos and also the enemies within the Imperium itself. Absolutely no idea, but something is definitely building up with all these messages, all these bloody communications with the Ordo Xenos. Again, it's going to be really, really interesting to see what the last text is in the Eye of Terror book and that rumoured Armageddon book, because there's so much more yet to come. There's so much more yet to come. I've got a few more bits from this book. I'm going to try and put out the story for the entirety of the book, hopefully on weekend, but I just wanted to release this video today to talk about this. Well, how do you feel? Ordo Astartes, not happy with Guilliman again? Do you think the Ordo Astartes, the Inquisition, have a foot to stand on against Guilliman? Could they take on the living son of the Emperor? Like, how many people would side with the Inquisition over the son of the Emperor? I fear not a lot. I fear every Space Marine, potentially. Well, not every Space Marine. You probably got, like, what they called, not the Red Corsairs, the Red Hunters. They're very, very inquisitorial. The Grey Knights, potentially, would side with the Inquisition. I'm sure there's some chapters that would side with the Inquisition, but the majority of them would probably side with Guilliman, and of course, the Lion, and maybe even more Loyalist Primarchs, which should be coming back next edition. But yes, we'll talk about that when that stuff hits. Thank you for coming. Thank you for watching as always. Got any thoughts, feedback, anything like that? Post it down below. I'm going to have a nice little chinwag down there, as we always do. See ya. Have a great day, evening, night, wherever around the world, and bye-bye.